Hello everybody. I'm doing this video today because I've had a lot of comments on the marking talk that I had back in 2004, since ages ago, and I wasn't quite sure how to respond because there's been some beautiful comments from people that are very understanding, and I actually wasn't sure how it would be received. This picture that I found, I actually typed in depressed woman, and the reason I typed in depressed woman on the internet was because I thought that's exactly how I felt. And after so many years of not listening to that tape, listening to it again when I'm now in a clear mind away from that situation, I was able to hear it properly with open eyes, and my heart was ready to hear exactly what was being said. Because I'm telling you now, the first time I heard the talk, when it was directed at me back then, I sat there. I sat on the left hand side of the Kingdom Hall towards the back, right over on the furthest part, leaning against the wall, and I had my baby Charlotte for a few months. She was a few months old, and I knew this talk was coming, and every ounce of me, my heart was pounding, my stomach was flipping, I felt sick. I didn't know what to say, what to do, because I'd never heard a marking talk before, and I didn't know what this marking talk was going to be. Now, this congregation I was sat in was full of people who had seen me and accepted me as a wife to a boy they had seen grow up in their congregation and was the presiding overseer's son. So you can imagine that I'm sat there and everybody else is in that hall are very, very much seeing him as still a child, and they're looking at me with evil eyes, evil accusing eyes of hurting this little boy. Now, I will say I wasn't hurting him, because I had not done anything. All the things I'd been accused of were false accusations, and his family, his father, my father-in-law, the presiding overseer of the congregation, his mother hen of the congregation, his wife, very much at the front of the Kingdom Hall, on the same side I was sitting, so they had the backs to me, and literally 2 rows away in front of this elder giving this talk. Their son sat with them. So, picture, support network, non-support network, anybody that was remaining loyal, or not loyal, but still being my friend. After this conversation of this talk that was happening, this was to make sure that if I had anybody that was remaining anywhere close to the fact that they knew what was really going on, were going to be far away from me after this and avoiding me like the plague, for fear and wrath of not Jehovah, like the talk was trying to make out, but fear of people looking onwards that would have a certain view of them, and therefore their standing in the congregation would go, alright then. We don't talk about fear of Jehovah here. This is fear of man, and man's opinion and man's idea of you as an individual, and how you're seen, and in associating with you, how they're seen, and tainted by association, you could say. And unfortunately, the only person this talk was going to affect and actually going to hurt was me. And at the end of the day, I'll give you a rough explanation of where and why this was going on, because if anybody hasn't seen my My Life as a JW Part 2, you're not going to understand the circumstances involving this talk. I talk in my video there about my life when my husband had decided, when I was 3 months pregnant, to leave me, and then I tried everything to try and keep the marriage together, didn't understand why he was doing this, and his accusations in order to get support were that I'd had an affair and that this wasn't his child, which was absolutely ludicrous. I mean, I'd never slept with anybody in my life apart from my husband, and to this day I've slept with 2 men in my life, my husbands, the one now and the one before. Unless it was divine conception, he was absolutely, you know, this is not happening, is it? Is his child, planned pregnancy on his planned pregnancy. He wanted a baby, we started trying, we fell pregnant. Anyway, so after receiving a network of support through this allegation, I received, because I didn't walk away and leave him to have thoughts to himself, to find himself, to understand if he wanted to stay with me or not. They tried to remove me from that town and kick me back to my hometown, which I'm living in now. And what they wanted me to do was to move back in with my mum and dad. This is a woman now who's moved out of my mum and dad's home as an adult, a young adult, and the only time I've lived away from home is now as a young single, young married woman. And I've been living and looking after my own home as a woman now for nearly 7 years. And my ex-husband, after this pregnancy, turns around and says, "Bye-bye, I want you to move back in with your mum and dad now." Well, that's not only unfair to them, but it's also extremely unfair to me and our now daughter, because she's going to be living with grandparents, and where do I go from there? That's not fair. I can't just lumber and load myself on someone else just because someone else has decided that's what I should do. I'm an independent woman and I will not put myself on people, especially when there's no reason to. So I was prepared to move out, mind, but it was only after finding a letter via my auntie, who's quite a snooper when she wants to be, found this letter with 6 suggestions on what he should be doing. And one of them was, don't leave the house, make her leave the house, and don't give her any money because she can later deny it in court. Nice. Anyway, I didn't move out because of that. I thought, no, this is serious. I need time to think. I don't know what's going on here. So I received a letter from his solicitors, and it said, I suggest, at the end of it, it's after all this gump that was in it, I suggest you seek legal counsel, as the content of this letter is legally suggesting that, you know, things are going to go on in legal content. So I thought, oh, good grief. Well, I did, and basically this marking talk that we were now receiving was all due to a meeting that I'd been drawn to by the elders, and I even asked an elder, is this a judicial brother? And he said, no, it's not a judicial, it's just a chat at the Kingdom Hall. So I said, okay, fine. So off I went with Charlotte, my baby, turned up at the Kingdom Hall, went into the B school, the book room, at the front of the hall, and sat down, and then they proceeded to, literally all 4 of them, my ex-husband and these 3 elders sat in front of me, and I started having a lecture given to me about how I should be, think of, you need to move, and you need to stay in this relation, not pursue the legal road you're down. And I'm like, what? I'm not pursuing anything. He's the one who wants to leave me, not the other way around. I've tried everything to stay in this relationship. Now, I just put to this point of the legal road. It's been going on for quite a while now with the solicitors. At this point in the legal position, we are now at the point where I have discovered that he's actually been disloyal, and all the things he's accused me of, he's actually done. Surprise, that's exactly what he did. So I now am thinking, I know exactly what's going to happen. They'll want me to move away, which is what they did. They'll want me to then, somewhere down the line, he'll want a divorce. I'll be put in a position where I've just got my life back on the getting back together, and he'll want a divorce. And all what I went through those months, I didn't want to be happening again in, say, 2-3 years down the line when my daughter's now a toddler. As it was, I didn't see the pregnancy really, but I thought I really need to get this over and done with now. And because I'd discovered it'd been unfaithful, I knew I was free to divorce him in the eyes of Jehovah and the legal system. But because he wouldn't admit to it, surprise, I was going to divorce him on the grounds of unreasonable conduct, through his lack of maintenance, through everything he put me through, and that was the only way I could get him out of my life in the legal sense, so that when eventually his unfaithfulness was shown, I would be free spiritually as well. Although I knew I was free spiritually already, but that's not the point. I needed it over with the courts. I just had enough. So that's what I did. And because of that now, because I'd taken hold of the reins through the first time through this entire situation, they didn't like it. So it was a big no, she's all panic. So they tried to stop me. And this marking talk, after this chat we had, they said, well, we're going to do a marking talk. And I said, well, you said it wasn't a judicial. And the brother that told me this just went quiet and looked away. And I looked at him and, you lied to me. You lied to me. Thank you. I now know where I stand. So I pursued it and I said, fine, but I haven't done anything wrong. But I know this, and Jehovah knows this. So prepared myself for this marking talk, and I sat in this Kingdom Hall while this was going on. I felt ashamed, I felt dirty, I felt embarrassed, I felt all eyes on me and accusing me of something I had never done. Mud sticks, and people still to this day think that I did something wrong. I didn't. However, that situation, I'm over, but it still affects me, because that talk, listening to it again, dragged up a lot, and listening to it now with open eyes, how dare they do this to people? There's people out there listening to these talks on a daily basis, or a monthly or a weekly or whatever, that are still trapped in that organisation and sitting there and taking it. They don't need to take it. They don't, because it's cruel, it's evil, it's not right. But when you're a Jehovah's Witness, you think it's from Jehovah. And the amount of people, I should imagine, that have tried to take their own lives, probably have been successful in it as well, because they feel that they want to please him all the time. And they're now being told by this brother on this platform, via Jehovah, that they're doing wrong. And my situation, I hadn't done anything. But you know what? I was totally ignored from that point onwards. I didn't have one person. I say that, but there was only one person. It was an elder's wife, who, a lovely elderly sister, who thought it was absolutely disgusting, because she believed me. But she just kept saying, trust in Jehovah, trust in Jehovah. And I said, I am. And that's the only thing that kept me going. But looking back now, if anybody is in that situation, if you're a Jehovah's Witness and you are having brothers in your congregation or wherever telling you that you are not to do this, you are not to do that, you are to accept counsel because it's from Jehovah, and you've got to do this because it's from Jehovah, listen to that tape. Just listen to it. Listen to what the way that this brother, newly married as well himself, he was a young brother, and he stood there, and you know, he was congratulated at the end of the Kingdom, at the end of the meeting, for doing such a lovely talk. Listen to it. Just listen to the content of that talk. Listen to it. Follow the scriptures. Nowhere in there does it say about, okay, Paul said about being marked. That's the way they take it is well beyond what the scriptures were meant for it to mean. It's evil. It's just pure evil. Thank you for everyone with your comments. I'm trying to get to answer them. I just haven't had time when I've been people have been saying that they don't understand the reasoning behind what was the situation. So I thought I'd better do a video, just to bring everybody up to speed. It still hurts, but even though I'm crying, I'm happy because I'm so relieved to be out of it. You don't understand how relieved I am. I'm pleased, but I am begging people, if they're in that situation still, you need to come out of it. Come away. It's evil. It's nothing to do with God at all. It's wicked. It's a cult. You're in a cult. And come away from it, because it's just going to do you more damage. What did that serve to do? That wasn't to build. That wasn't to help the spirit and the peace of the congregation. What's that going to do for the spirit and the peace of the congregation? It's going to do nothing but divide people. And I know that because it happened. Nobody would come near me after that. They wouldn't touch me with a barge pole, to coin a phrase from my ex-husband. They wouldn't go anywhere near me for fear of tainting their relationship with everyone else in the congregation, not Jehovah. It had nothing to do with God. It was all about fear of man and who you are and your connections within the organisation. It has nothing to do with Jehovah God or Jesus Christ. It's all man. Just listen to it and understand. And hopefully this will give you a bit more of a picture. Anyway, bye for now. And I shall hopefully be a bit happier next time. I am happy, honest. Bye bye for now.